next door to us. Now, does anyone guess why the water is heated? Where is the Great Barrier Reef located? Queensland, absolutely. Was that what you were going to say? Yeah. So it's located in Queensland, which is warmer and slightly more tropical. As these fish are also from up in the Great Barrier Reef, we need to warm that water and give them their energy. Fish are similar to snakes in the sense that they get their energy from their surroundings. So we need to heat up that water so they're ready to jump around, just like you. Now we do have over 60 different species of fish in our exhibit here. There are over 1,200 individual fish. Now the way we work that out is we have scuba divers that will actually head into the tank and they will take out some boards and actually try and count all of the different fish that we have here in this tank. Now one of the first things that I noticed is all of the colour. So what colours can we see in this tank here? What do you think? Blue. And one of our favourite blue fish that's very attention-seeking and loves coming up the front is a very famous fish. What fish is blue that likes to come along here? Can anyone see? It's from a movie. What do you think? It's Dory, that's right. Dory loves to come along here. It's also referred to as the blue tank or the surgeon fish because it has two spines on the end of its tail, a little bit like a scalpel, so that's why it's called a surgeon fish. Now apart from all the lovely colourful fish that we have in here, we also do have 3 species of shark. Now can anyone tell me any of the types of sharks that we have in here?
Big white shark.
A great white shark? There is a great white shark in the ocean, but unfortunately not in this tank. Now often that's a question we get asked, and the reason for that is it's a very large shark, but more importantly it travels very, very long distances. So it can go from South Australia to South Africa and back in 1 year. Now although this is the largest tank in Sydney Aquarium, it's not quite the same distance as between here and South Africa. And if we put them into this tank, it'll get a little bit unhappy and start to run into things. So we don't have those. We do, however, have the leopard shark, which you'll often find sitting on the bottom with its lovely spots. We have our grey reef shark and our black tip reef shark. How do you think we might know if it's a black tip reef shark? What might it have? Perfect. It has a black tip on its back. Up there you can actually see one of our leopard sharks swimming along. They love sitting down on the bottom. We also do have our sawfish. Now the sawfish is a recently new addition to our aquarium. We have 4 of those, 3 boys and 1 girl. Now the girl is the largest one. She's about 2.6 metres long. Now who saw the big model of the great white shark earlier on in the aquarium? You saw it? Did you see the big shark near the shark jaws? You saw it as well? Fantastic. That was about 7.4 metres long. And in the wild, the sawfish can actually get up to 7 metres. So just a little bit shy of that shark that you saw there. Very, very large. And imagine a lot of that would be nose. Now the nose itself, you might be able to see one coming along there. That's called the rostrum. And on the side of that nose are actually blunt teeth. And they take that nose and they'll actually take it into a school of fish. That is one of our grey reef sharks. That's both of our grey reef sharks there. That is Cruiser and Cruiser coming along to draw all of your attention away from me. They have 2 boys. Now you can tell that they're boys because they have their claspers, which are sexual organs on the underside of their body. So you might be able to see that when they come over later. So the sawfish has that nose with those blunt teeth on the edge. They take it into a school of fish and they swing it around like a baseball bat. Because fish can be very fast and what they want to do is hit a fish on the head and kind of stun it a little bit. And that way it'll make the fish slow enough that they can actually grab hold. Now people often think that the spikes on the side of the nose should be spiky. But if you've got no hands, you shake your nose around in a school of fish and you get a fish stuck to the side of your face. Not only does that not fill you up, it makes you look a little bit silly. So having those blunt spines on the side of that nose works perfectly for them. back to the reef. So a lot of these fish use a thing called mass spawning. What happens is the male and female fish will actually shoot off their eggs and their sperm at the same time. Lots and lots of fish come together and they shoot it all up at the same time. So, you know, we might think that some humans are a little bit of bad parents. These fish don't even wait around until the egg is fertilized. They shoot it up and they swim away and the fish are completely on their own. And they use the sound of waves. You think about a wave crashing onto a reef. They use that sound to actually swim back to the reef. Now these fish can swim at 20 body lengths per second, which is about the same as me moving 30 meters in a second. I like to consider that I'm fast, but I'm not quite 30 meters in a second. The way they work that out is they have small things that are like fish treadmills. Okay, so let's see, we've got our three lovely big GTs there, our lovely large trevally. Now, in this tank here, we do have quite a lot of different fish. We also have a very strange looking fish, which has a long point in front of its nose. That is called a unicorn fish. Now, although we can see all of that colour that's on all these fish, they have one extra thing. They actually have ultraviolet colours. We can't see them, but the other fish can. And they can use that to identify whether or not they're a mate or whether or not they're a foe. We have two of our reef sharks coming along here. Does anyone remember what that shark might be called? Have a look at it. Perfect. That is our black tip reef sharks. Now that is all three of them there. That is Huey, Dewey and Louie. And like our grey reef sharks, they are also boys, which means they have those sexual organs on their underside. Now, who here is afraid of sharks? Is anyone afraid of sharks? We've got a couple of people along here, and I have a feeling there may be some adults that are thinking it and possibly not putting their hands up. Now I have another question for you. Who is afraid of vending machines? Anyone afraid of where you get your chip packets and your chocolate out of? No one? Well, over the last year, 4 people died around the world by shark attacks. 13 people died from a vending machine falling off. So next time you're going to get your chips and chocolate out of that machine, if it gets stuck, don't shout. That is the lesson that you need to learn from today. There are over 400 species of shark. Only 4 of them are really known to ever have been in close contact with humans and to have actually caused death. The great white shark, the oceanic white tip, the bull tongue and the tiger shark as well. So out of all of those and all of the people that live, it's very, very uncommon. So now who thinks would cause more deaths? I'm going to ask you to give you a couple of options. I'd just like you to put your hand up for the animal that you think causes more deaths. So we have included the great white shark. The second option is the horse. The third option is the saltwater crocodile. So who thinks it is number 1? Who thinks that great white sharks kill most people? Anyone? One person down the front. Who thinks that horses kill most people? We've got a couple of people brave enough to put their hands up. Who thinks it is the third one? Who thinks that the saltwater crocodile kills the most people? A couple of ones. It is the horse. The horse kills about 42 people a year. Now it has been mentioned to me that perhaps that's because we don't choose to ride sharks or crocodiles, which I think is quite a good thing for us to choose not